Everybody knows violent games are bad for society. From the negative effects on the player's social attitude to the violent tendencies that can arise from overexposure to violent games. But why are we still playing them? Why are people rushing out to buy the latest copy of the new AAA game? If video games are such a bad influence and have such a negative impact on the user and those around them, why are they so popular? Brendan Sinclair of the GamingIndustries.biz stated it in an article he wrote in 2015. Global Games market report projecting worldwide revenues to reach over $100 billion in 2017. Since his article, the industry has indeed reached $99.6 billion in early 2017, with several of the months still remaining. With a heavily lucrative and dominant industry plastered all over social media and other general media, it is curious to think that this is also such a hindrance on society. The past decade has been one of the biggest improvements in the gaming industry, with the widely accepted mobile gaming breaking onto the scene and becoming an instant hit with part-time gamers who either don't have enough time or don't have a console or PC at their home. With some games seeing millions in profit, an example of this is the worldwide hit Clash of Clans, which saw a massive $930 million profit for 2015, according to Charles Polidon of the IBT Journal. However, with all the profit in the news and the success games reach, it is easy to oversee the negative effects that ripple through the news stories. Allegedly, forcing many young troubled minds, games and violent ones especially, have a tendency to appear in many trials for beatings, murder, and theft. In mid-2013, a murder trial was heard in Beeson, Illinois. Christopher Harris was charged with the murder of a family of 5. The defense claimed that had a history of attention deficit disorder, school problems, and had several violent video games in his bedroom, not placing the blame on the games, but not ruling out its involvement. There have been other incidents with violence which have had evidence supporting video games in their involvement, with the psychological impact it can have on a young mind. April 20th, 1999, Eric Harris and Dylan Kierbold walked onto their school campus and opened fire, killing many of their peers. A horrible, unnecessary incident, and during the intensive investigation, it was found that there was evidence supporting the theory the boys had been affected by violent video games they had played. However, not all negative effects are as visible and apparent as a mass murder. To those who choose not to kill others in a fit of rage due to a game, there is still the mental effects it has on the brain. Being subjected to sometimes dozens of hours of violent content, from beatings to explosion, this has a detrimental and sometimes permanent effect on the mind, especially a young mind. Children as young as 12 have been known to play games outside their appropriate age rating, leaving them vulnerable to the mature content meant for older audiences and players. Games similar to the Grand Theft Auto series are a constant franchise that appears in court cases for its violent nature. The ability to do virtually anything, the only vice being the player's imagination, and for the young, immature children, shooting is never far from thought. Game mechanics that make it easy to kill NPCs, or non-playable characters, are becoming common among open-world games in the hopes to attract people to the freedom of choice in their particular game. Although, some games punish this system. The Assassin's Creed series punishes the player for unnecessary killing of NPCs by first a warning, then a restart of the level, and/or section of the game. Although a small gesture, this is still nothing compared to some of the violent content in today's modern gaming. Moreover, it's becoming a large must-have for games to have a violent aspect in order to appeal to the market which craves it. Video games today are violent and have the potential to be deadly if not used properly. Their disregard for violent themes and immature content can be a horrible combination. However, they are here to stay. With the profit margin exponentially increasing, it is safe to say that they are here to stay. The most we can do as gamers and concerned citizens is to ensure that we know the risks and teach others how to deal with them should they arise.